Kim Weston left Motown in 1967 at the absolute peak of her career. She had hits on the charts. She had proven commercial viability. She had established herself as one of Motown's successful female solo artists. And she walked away, not because she failed, not because Berry Gordy fired her. Kim Weston chose to leave Motown when most artists would have stayed and fought for more. The reason why tells you everything about what it meant to be a woman at Motown when your husband worked there too, and Berry Gordy controlled both your careers. Some of y'all remember Kim Weston's voice, even if you don't remember her name. Remember Take Me in Your Arms, Rock Me a Little While from 1965? Remember Helpless and A Little More Love? Remember that voice on the radio alongside Diana Ross and Martha Reeves and all the other Motown women? Kim wasn't the biggest star at Motown, but she was solid, successful, valuable, which is why her departure in 1967 confused people. Why would someone leave Motown at their peak? The answer involved marriage, power, loyalty, and the impossible position Berry put women in when personal and professional lives collided. Kim Weston married William "Mickey" Stevenson in 1964. Mickey was one of Motown's most important executives. He was the A&R director, the man who managed artist development, who decided which songs went to which artists, who shaped Motown's sound from behind the scenes. Mickey had been in Motown since the beginning, had Berry's trust and respect, was essential to Motown's operation. And when Mickey married Kim, it created a dynamic that would ultimately destroy both their Motown careers. Berry Gordy didn't like his employees being married to each other, didn't like the divided loyalties, the potential conflicts of interest, the complications when business decisions affected both a husband and wife. Berry had built Motown on his ability to control his artists completely. Marriage between employees undermined that control, created relationships where Berry's interests might not be the priority. And when Mickey Stevenson, Berry's A&R director, married Kim Weston, one of Berry's artists, Berry started watching both of them more carefully. The tension manifested in how Kim's career was managed after the marriage. Before marrying Mickey, Kim had been getting solid support from Motown. After the marriage, Kim noticed changes. Noticed that her song selections weren't as strong. Noticed that promotional support seemed less enthusiastic. Noticed Berry's attitude toward her had shifted. It wasn't dramatic or obvious. It was subtle diminishment, the kind that's hard to prove but impossible to miss when you live in it. Some of y'all understand what it's like to be treated differently at work because of who you married. Understand that your competence gets questioned, your loyalty gets doubted, your achievements get attributed to your spouse's influence rather than your own merit. Kim Weston experienced all of that at Motown after marrying Mickey. Every success Kim achieved came with whispers that Mickey had given Kim preferential treatment. Every setback was blamed on Mickey protecting Kim rather than acknowledging Kim's actual performance. The marriage made Kim's individual contributions invisible. Mickey Stevenson's position at Motown became increasingly difficult after marrying Kim. Berry expected Mickey's loyalty to Motown to supersede his loyalty to his wife. Expected Mickey to make business decisions that might hurt Kim's career if those decisions benefited Motown. Expected Mickey to treat Kim like any other artist rather than like his wife. And when Mickey tried to balance being Berry's A&R director with being Kim's husband, Berry interpreted that balance as disloyalty. The breaking point came in 1967. Mickey had been asking Berry for better songs for Kim, for more promotional support, for the kind of resources the Supremes were getting. Mickey argued that Kim had proven commercial viability and deserved investment. Berry saw Mickey's advocacy as exactly what Berry had worried about, a Motown executive putting personal interests ahead of company interests. Berry's response was to marginalize both of them. If Mickey was going to prioritize Kim over Motown, then neither of them would get what they wanted. Berry started making decisions without consulting Mickey, started excluding Mickey from meetings Mickey should have attended, started undermining Mickey's authority as A&R director, and Kim's career stalled completely. The message was clear. If Mickey and Kim wanted to be married, they could do it somewhere other than Motown. Berry wasn't going to tolerate divided loyalty from his A&R director or accommodate a husband-wife dynamic that complicated his control. Mickey resigned from Motown in 1967. After years of being one of Berry's most trusted executives, after helping build Motown's sound and success, after contributing to nearly every major Motown hit of the early 1960s, Mickey walked away because staying meant accepting treatment he found intolerable. The resignation shocked the industry. Mickey Stevenson leaving Motown was like losing a pillar of the foundation, but Mickey chose marriage and dignity over Berry's system. Kim left immediately after Mickey resigned, didn't try to continue her Motown career without Mickey, didn't attempt to prove she could succeed independently of her husband, understood that staying at Motown after Mickey left would mean constant speculation about loyalty, constant questions about whether Kim had supported Mickey's resignation, constant Berry Gordy punishing Kim for her husband's choice. Kim and Mickey left together, made a joint decision that their marriage mattered more than Motown. Some of y'all remember when both Kim and Mickey left Motown in 1967. Remember thinking it was strange that someone as important as Mickey would resign. Remember wondering what had happened behind the scenes. Remember feeling that Berry must have done something to push him out, because people that successful don't just walk away. Your instinct was correct. Berry had created conditions that made staying impossible. The departure was portrayed publicly as mutual and professional. Berry didn't badmouth Mickey or Kim. Mickey and Kim didn't publicly criticize Berry. The industry explanation was that Mickey and Kim wanted to pursue independent projects. But people close to Motown knew the real story. Berry had forced them out by making their marriage incompatible with their Motown careers. The choice was divorce or departure. They chose departure. Kim and Mickey tried to continue in music after leaving Motown, worked with other labels, did independent production, tried to build something separate from Berry's empire. But nothing they did after Motown matched what they had achieved there. The distribution, the promotion, the recognition, all of it was tied to being at Motown. Leaving meant starting over without the infrastructure that had made them successful. And the music industry wasn't kind to people who'd walked away from Berry Gordy. Kim Weston's post-Motown career never achieved the success her Motown years had promised. She recorded for various labels through the 1970s, had minor hits, but nothing approaching the chart success she'd had at Motown. Performed live, maintained a career, but always as someone whose peak had been in the past. The woman who'd had genuine hits at Motown became a nostalgia act, playing oldie shows. And Berry Gordy's Motown continued thriving, while Kim's career stagnated. The financial reality of leaving Motown was brutal. At Motown, Kim had been making steady money from recording contracts, performance fees, and the promotional machine that kept her working. Outside Motown, those income streams disappeared. Kim had to rebuild everything from scratch without Motown's support. And while Mickey's production skills were valuable, losing his A&R director position and salary was a significant financial hit. The choice to leave Motown cost him both money and momentum. Some of y'all watched Kim's career after Motown and felt sad about what could have been. Saw a talented woman whose marriage had cost her the platform that could have made her a legend. Wondered whether Kim regretted leaving or whether she was glad to be out from under Berry's control. The answer was probably both. Kim and Mickey's marriage lasted, which meant the decision to prioritize it over Motown wasn't wrong. But the professional cost was real and permanent. Mickey Stevenson's contributions to Motown were eventually acknowledged in music history, though not during his Motown years. Music scholars recognize Mickey's role in developing Motown's sound, his work with artists, his influence on the records that made Motown famous. But that recognition came decades later, long after Mickey had left and couldn't benefit from it professionally. Berry never publicly acknowledged what losing Mickey had cost Motown or admitted that forcing Mickey out had been a mistake. Kim Weston's contributions to Motown remain largely overlooked. She's mentioned in comprehensive Motown histories, but rarely given significant attention. Her hits are remembered, but not celebrated. Her voice was part of Motown's sound, but her name isn't part of Motown's story the way Diana Ross's is. Kim became another example of a talented Motown woman whose career was shaped more by Berry Gordy's priorities than by her own merit. The marriage that Berry saw as a problem was actually the stable foundation that sustained them both when Motown support disappeared. What Berry interpreted as divided loyalty was actually commitment that proved stronger than Berry's system. Diana Ross never had to choose between Berry Gordy and her career because Diana's relationship with Berry was the thing that advanced Diana's career. Diana's romantic connection to Berry meant Berry's personal and professional interests in Diana aligned perfectly. Diana never faced the conflict Kim and Mickey faced, never had to choose between a relationship and Motown success because Diana's relationship was the source of Motown success. The contrast revealed everything about how Berry's system worked differently depending on which relationship you had with him. Kim Weston is 78 years old now, still married to Mickey Stevenson after 60 years, still occasionally performing, still carrying the story of what it cost to leave Motown at her peak, still understanding that choosing marriage over Berry Gordy's system was the right decision, even though the professional consequences were severe, and still representing an alternative to the path Diana Ross took, the path where you keep your dignity and your marriage even if you lose your stardom. Some of y'all respect Kim Weston's choice even while recognizing what it cost her. Respect that she prioritized marriage over career when the industry demanded she choose. Respect that she and Mickey walked away together rather than letting Berry's system destroy their relationship. Respect that decades later, their marriage still stands as proof that the choice was right, even when the professional consequences were painful. That respect matters because it acknowledges that success isn't only measured by fame and money. The question that haunts Kim's story is what her career would have been if she hadn't married Mickey, if Kim had remained single and fully available to Berry's control, if Kim had been free to accept whatever Berry offered without the complication of a husband who also worked at Motown. Would Kim have achieved Diana-level success? Probably not. Berry had already chosen Diana as his priority. But would Kim have had a longer, more successful Motown career? Almost certainly. The marriage didn't cause Kim's limitations at Motown. Berry's system caused them. But the marriage gave Berry the excuse he needed to marginalize both Kim and Mickey. Berry Gordy's legacy includes forcing talented people to choose between personal relationships and professional success, includes creating a system where marriage between employees was treated as betrayal rather than as normal human connection, includes pushing out Mickey Stevenson, one of Motown's most important executives, because Mickey wouldn't put company loyalty ahead of marriage, includes watching Kim Weston's career stagnate after she left and never acknowledging that Motown's loss of both talents was Berry's fault for creating impossible conditions. Mickey Stevenson's legacy in music production is significant, but would have been greater if Berry had valued Mickey's contributions enough to accommodate Mickey's marriage. Mickey helped create Motown's sound during its most crucial years. Mickey's work influenced countless hits. Mickey's resignation was Motown's loss, not Mickey's failure. But Berry's system required total loyalty and couldn't tolerate divided allegiance. So Mickey left, and Motown continued without him, while everyone pretended it didn't matter. Kim Weston's voice deserves to be remembered alongside Martha Reeves and Mary Wells and all the other Motown women whose talent was extraordinary but whose recognition was limited by Berry's priorities. Kim's hits deserve to be celebrated as part of Motown's golden age. Kim's choice to leave deserves to be understood not as career suicide, but as a decision to prioritize dignity and marriage over a system that demanded everything and gave back conditional support. Kim's story matters because it shows that walking away from Berry Gordy was possible, even if it was costly. The music survives. Take Me in Your Arms still plays on oldest stations. Kim's voice still reaches people who don't know her name. Mickey's production work still influences how people understand Motown's sound, and their marriage still stands as proof that choosing each other over Berry's system was survivable, even when the professional consequences were severe. They lost Motown but kept each other. In Berry's world, that looks like failure. In human terms, it might be victory. Do you remember Kim Weston's voice? Did you know about her marriage to Mickey Stevenson and why they left Motown? Drop a comment sharing your memories of Kim's music, or tell us about times when you had to choose between career and personal relationships. Hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss another trip down memory lane.